Everything you have ever touched, every star you see, and every second you experience, is a mathematical illusion. For centuries, we believed our five senses were absolute windows to the truth, yet modern physics has reached a staggering conclusion: our 3D world is merely a low-resolution projection. We are living on a thin slice of a much larger, 12-dimensional structure that we are biologically blind to. Imagine a shadow on a wall. The shadow has no depth, no organs, and no concept of the 3D object that casts it. In the eyes of theoretical physics, we are that shadow. Our entire universe, from the farthest galaxy to the DNA in your cells, is a three-dimensional reflection of a complex, higher-dimensional geometry. We are not the source of reality, we are its echo. This biological limitation was an evolutionary necessity for survival, as our brains evolved to navigate 3D space to find food and avoid predators. We were never meant to perceive the extra 6 or 9 dimensions that vibrate around us at every moment. However, mathematics, the universal language of logic, has allowed us to peer through the veil. Today, we decode the source code that our eyes were never designed to see. Step into the darkness of the subatomic world, where the rules of common sense no longer apply. To understand the 12th dimension, we must first break the chains of our 3D prison. We must accept that space and time are not what they seem, but are merely the surface of a deep, multidimensional ocean. Welcome to the exploration of the ultimate symmetry. The crisis of modern physics began when we realized that general relativity and quantum mechanics speak two different, irreconcilable languages. Einstein's gravity works perfectly for massive stars, while quantum laws govern the subatomic chaos. When we try to combine them, the equations result in mathematical infinities, a clear sign that our 3D model is incomplete. String theory emerged as the only bridge capable of closing this gap. String theory proposes that the fundamental building blocks of the universe are not point-like particles, but unimaginably small, vibrating loops of energy. Just as a violin string can produce different musical notes depending on its vibration, these cosmic strings create electrons, quarks, or photons based on their frequency. Everything we call matter is, in fact, a symphony played on the fabric of space-time. However, for this symphony to maintain its harmony, the strings require a much larger stage than our 3 dimensions. Mathematical consistency demands exactly 10 dimensions, 9 of space and 1 of time. In any fewer dimensions, the strings would suffer from quantum anomalies, causing the physical laws of our universe to evaporate into nonsense. 10 is the magic number where the math finally breathes. These extra dimensions are not far away in space, they are folded into every point in your body. We call this the landscape problem, where 10 dimensions allow for a nearly infinite variety of possible universes. Yet, even this vast 10D landscape was just a fragment of a larger truth. Physics was about to witness a revolution that would unify the 5 competing versions of this theory. In 1995, Edward Witten ignited the second superstring revolution by introducing M-theory. He proved that the 5 different string theories were actually 5 different perspectives of a single, unified 11-dimensional system. By adding one more spatial dimension, Witten transformed strings into membranes, or brains. This was the birth of the mother of all theories, a framework that could encompass everything. In M-theory, our entire universe is a 3-dimensional brain, floating inside a much larger 11-dimensional space known as the bulk. This concept changed our understanding of the Big Bang. Instead of a singular explosion from nothing, our origin may have been the collision of 2 massive membranes drifting through the bulk. Our existence is the result of a cosmic impact in the 11th dimension. This 11th dimension also solves the hierarchy problem, the mystery of why gravity is billions of times weaker than the other fundamental forces. M-theory suggests that while electromagnetism is trapped on our 3D membrane, gravity is a closed loop that can leak into the extra dimensions. We only feel a shadow of gravity's true strength because most of its energy is vibrating in the hidden 11th floor. M-theory pushed our imagination to the brink, suggesting that other parallel universes could be floating just millimeters away from us in the 11th dimension, yet remain completely unreachable. But even this masterpiece of physics felt incomplete to some. To reach perfect mathematical symmetry, the universe needed to go even higher. It needed a father. If these dimensions are so vital, why does the universe hide them so effectively? The process is called compactification, where higher dimensions are curled up into geometries known as Calabi-Yau manifolds. These shapes are so small, roughly 10 carat minus 35 meters, that even the most powerful particle accelerators cannot detect them directly. They are the microscopic gears that drive the macroscopic world. The specific shape of a Calabi-Yau manifold determines the very laws of physics in our 3D world. The number of holes in these geometries dictates how many types of particles, like quarks or electrons, can exist. If a single fold in this 11-dimensional shape were different, the electron would have a different mass, stars would never ignite, and life as we know it would be impossible. Think of these geometries as the internal operating system of the cosmos. Every particle is like a program running on the hardware of these curled-up dimensions. By studying the mathematics of these manifolds, we are essentially looking at the blueprints used to build reality itself. We are uncovering the secret architecture behind the curtain of light, but these shapes are not static. They are dynamic, pulsating structures that respond to energy and matter. As we approach the final frontier of 12 dimensions, the geometry of space begins to merge with the geometry of time. The distinction between where and when starts to blur, leading us to the most radical discovery in modern science. In 1996, physicist Kamran Vafa proposed F-theory, pushing the boundaries of M-theory into a 12-dimensional realm. The F stands for father, as it serves as an even more foundational layer than the mother theory. Vafa discovered that by adding a 12th dimension, certain complex mathematical problems in 11D became elegantly simple and symmetric. F-theory uses a mathematical concept called elliptical fibration, where every point in our spacetime is attached to a tiny torus, or a donut-shaped geometry. This 12-dimensional framework allows for a far more detailed description of the fundamental forces, especially the strong and weak nuclear forces. It provides a grand unified theory that is more robust than any model before it. The leap to 12 dimensions is not just about adding more space. It is about a fundamental shift in the structure of reality. In F-theory, the 12th dimension acts as a catalyst that binds the other 11 together into a singular, unbreakable unit. It is the final piece of the puzzle that ensures the universe doesn't fly apart at a mathematical level. However, the most shocking revelation of F-theory lies in the nature of this 12th dimension. It does not behave like the other spatial dimensions we have explored. Instead, it forces us to confront a terrifying and beautiful possibility, the existence of a second dimension of time. We are about to enter a world where the clock has two hands moving in different directions. Our 3D minds see time as an arrow, a one-dimensional line moving relentlessly from the past to the future. This is 1T physics. But the 12th dimension introduces 2T physics, where time is not a line, but a surface, a two-dimensional landscape. In this realm, the arrow of time is replaced by a field of time, where multiple timelines can exist and interact simultaneously. What does it mean for time to have two dimensions? On a 2D plane, you can move not just forward and backward, but also sideways. This suggests that cause and effect are far more complex than we perceive. Events that seem unrelated in our 3D view may be directly connected on the 2D time plane. Every moment you experience is just a single coordinate on a vast, eternal map of nows. This two-time model explains certain anomalies in the Big Bang and black hole singularities that 1T physics cannot solve. It suggests that our universe didn't just have one beginning, but is part of a complex temporal web where time can fold back on itself or branch out into new realities. The 12th dimension is the ultimate control room, where the entire history of the cosmos is visible at once. As we stand on the edge of this discovery, we realize that the present is an illusion of our perspective. In 12 dimensions, you are not a temporary being fading away with time. You are a permanent, geometric structure stretching across a multidimensional landscape. Death and birth are merely the boundaries of your 3D shadow, while your 12D self remains eternal. We have traveled from the surface of our 3D world to the 12th dimensional peak of modern thought. While we cannot yet see these extra floors of reality, our mathematical instruments prove they are there. We are like prisoners in Plato's cave, finally turning our heads away from the shadows and looking directly at the blinding light of the true sun. The 12th dimension is the final frontier of our understanding. This is not just a quest for physicists, it is a quest for the soul of humanity. To accept a 12-dimensional universe is to accept that we are part of something infinitely more grand than our daily struggles. Every atom in your body is a vibrating string, harmonized by a geometry that spans dimensions we are only beginning to name. You are a cosmic symphony in human form. Scientists at CERN and other observatories are currently searching for gravitational leakage and supersymmetric particles that would provide the first physical evidence of these hidden floors. When that evidence arrives, it will trigger the greatest paradigm shift in human history. The walls of our 3D prison will finally crumble, and we will step out into the true, multidimensional light of the cosmos. If this journey into the 12th dimension has challenged your perception of existence, you are now part of the awakening. The shadows are fading, and the source code is being revealed. Subscribe to Talk Tender as we continue to push the boundaries of the known and explore the impossible. The elevator to infinity is just getting started.